Chapter 4. Before leaving the house, Serafina glanced at the mirror. The girl in the mirror was very beautiful. Her hair was in a messy bun with a few strands of hair hanging down, a lazy beauty. She wore a long blue silk dress. At first glance it seemed modest, but there was a high slit on the right thigh. Every time she walked, her long slender legs appeared and disappeared, dignified without losing her sexiness. Attending the Green Earth Charity Gala with this image, she felt very satisfied. When she went out the door, she met her mother. "Serafina, you usually don't pay attention to your clothes. Today you dress so beautifully." A few days ago, after being lectured by her grandmother, this mother had made a 180-degree turn in the way she treated her, which made her feel scared. She felt that her feelings for her mother were very complicated. The kinship was still there, she still loved her mother. But in the 11 years of her previous life, until her death, she still didn't understand why every time the crucial moment came, her mother would side with Lily and ignore her. She dismissed the thought and smiled. "The Green Earth Charity Gala is being held at the Golden Theatre in your school. I want to go and see it." Her mother had absolutely no interest in this, and gave a smile in response before getting to the main point. "It's your and your brother's 20th birthdays soon. I'm planning to throw you a grand birthday party, as a way to officially introduce you to others." Serafina smiled, knowing that her mother's main point wasn't here. Sure enough, the next second, her mother changed the subject. "Your grandmother didn't want to invite Lily, but she's the daughter I've raised for the past 18 years, and now she's also the nominal younger sister of Vivian, your cousin, so it wouldn't be polite not to invite her. Why don't you tell your grandmother to invite her?" She didn't answer, just looked at her mother sadly, her eyes filled with fear and grievance, her pitiful appearance as if she wanted to say something but stopped, wanting to say something but not daring to. Seeing this, her mother suddenly softened and coaxed her. "I know I've been cold to you lately, hurting you. It's my fault, but Lily is also our family member." She weakly nodded and softly said, "I know, let me think about it, okay?" Her mother happily nodded, yes. She left the house, her expression very calm. It was best for her not to try to understand this mother's thoughts, otherwise it would only hurt her, so it was better to pretend to be stupid. She was about to get in the car when suddenly an angry roar came from behind. "Serafina, stop right there for me." In the end, didn't he still not go to Dalian, not daring to delay and rushing straight home? Her hand holding the small wooden box tightened, she turned around and smiled sweetly. "Theodore, is there something wrong?" This was the first time she saw her twin brother after being resurrected. The young man was almost 20, his eyes were bright and sword-like, exuding a heroic aura, but on his forehead was a fierce and unruly expression that no one could match. He ran over in a rage, the afternoon sunlight dancing on his hair, so warm, so bright. She looked at him, her eyes suddenly aching, tears silently falling to the bottom of her heart. In her previous life, the last time she saw her younger brother was in a container at an abandoned pier, a trace of dried blood, a terrifying bullet hole, a cold body. Although the two of them had been arguing loudly for 11 years, they were still twins with a spiritual connection. When they argued, she had once scolded him to go die, but if she knew that someone wanted to kill her brother, she would really risk her life for him. But the heavens did not give her that chance. When she ran madly, his body had long been cold. In her previous life, she could not protect her brother. In this life, she would not let herself regret it anymore. She did not want to endure the despair of losing a loved one, the pain that made the sky and earth fall apart again. She turned to face him, smiling. "Great! Little brother, you're alive, great!" But Theodore didn't know what she was thinking. In just a few seconds he had rushed in front of her. Although they were twins, he was much taller than her, 1.80 meters, irritably wanting to crush her. "Who do you think you are? You've only been in my house for a few months and you think you're my big sister? What right do you have to manage me? What did you say to Grandma? Why was all my money frozen? Does Mom know what you did? Who gave you this right?" He was so angry. When he spoke it was like he was firing a machine gun. Serafina was 1.68 meters, and she was wearing 8-centimeter heels, so the difference in height wasn't much, plus her calm expression. Indifferent eyes and calm demeanor had already sent this hot-tempered lion flying several blocks away. She gently opened her mouth. Regardless of whether you accept it or not, Grandma has given me the right to control you. Regardless of whether you hate it or not, I have to correct all your bad habits of being extravagant, lustful, and vain. This was the first time he had been labeled with so many negative adjectives. His eyes almost rolled out. Although he was a scumbag, he still knew shame, so his fair face turned red with anger in an instant. What are you basing this on? It's very simple. She shrugged. In the future, you will be the heir to Smith Transport. If it goes bankrupt in your hands, I will be miserable too. Bankrupt? He had been pampered by his mother and family since he was a child. No one in the world had dared to disobey him, but an older sister who had just moved into the house suddenly dared to bring Grandma out to threaten him, cutting off his source of economic aid and entertainment. In Shanghai, all his cash was used to pay for tips, and yesterday when he came back, he had to let his friends buy him a plane ticket. He had never lost face in his life. As soon as he got home, he went to her to reason with her, but she kept belittling him without any respect. Finally, he couldn't hold it in any longer and shouted, "The Smith Group has so much money, we can't spend it all in our lifetimes. What the hell do you know? Do you know how hateful and cruel you are to me?" She didn't bother to pay attention. "You said it yourself just now. I've only been in this house for a few months. I don't have any feelings for you, so I won't sympathize with you. On the contrary, I find it fun to torture you. So you have to be good, don't make trouble, you know? Otherwise, I'll think of even more ways to punish you." You. He was so angry that he was speechless. Just as he was about to retort, he suddenly saw the wooden box in her hand and said in surprise, "Isn't this the heirloom diamond that our mother gave me, Princess Tears?" She had a calm expression and nodded frankly, "Yes, yesterday when you were away, I secretly took it out of your room. Today I have to attend a charity gala, I want to donate it." What? He widened his eyes, unable to believe that he was about to die of anger. There was such a shameless woman in this world, that was given to me by our mother to give to my future wife. She shrugged, looking indifferent. "Does mother know that you took this out to donate?" He fiercely used his mother to threaten her, warning, "You dare." She looked dryly at the irrigation system on the lawn. "I dare, you go tell mother." He found this trick useless, almost going crazy. "I promised to give it to someone." "I know, give it to Lily." She raised her head, indifferently looking at him. "If I see her there, I will help you convey your thoughts." He was momentarily stunned, wondering why she knew he wanted to give it to Lily, but after half a moment, he realized that it wasn't important, so he became furious again. "Give it back to me." She shook her head. "No, I won't give it back," and after saying that, she hid her hands behind her back. He saw her with such a shameless face, he was so angry that he blew up, and he was cruel and vicious. "You are really a slum kid, a shameless thief." He waited for her to explode in anger, but she just kept silent, her eyes glancing at him with disdain. "Even better than you, growing up in such a good environment but being useless, breaking everything you touch. You." He endured the humiliation continuously, his patience had reached its limit. He said fiercely, "I say this for the last time, give me back my stuff. I also say this for the last time, I won't give it back. I warn you, don't challenge me." His eyes were burning with anger. "Don't force me to hit you." She suddenly raised her eyes, looked at him with a bit of fear, then slowly took a step back. He smiled coldly and smugly. It seemed she was scared. If he had known, he would have said so from the beginning. Wouldn't it have saved him the trouble of arguing? However, what happened next was completely beyond his expectations. She kept quiet and silently took a step back, not because she was afraid, but because she stood still, calmly, firmly. Suddenly, her long, slender legs lifted up as fast as the wind, the hem of her blue silk skirt fluttered like butterfly wings. A straight, ruthless kick, just like in the book. Before he could react, she kicked him to the ground. He was in tears. A 1m81 tall young man had been knocked down like that. If someone else saw him, how could he have the face to live? The most important thing right now was not the issue of face. His neck hurt so much that it was about to break. he was rolling around calling for his father and mother. She quickly pulled her leg back, calmly and leisurely pulling her skirt back up. She glanced at him who was rolling around on the ground, and calmly said, "I forgot to tell you, I have a black belt in karate. Therefore." She returned the threat he had just made to her exactly as it was, "Don't force me to hit you." She turned around and got into the car, saying to the driver, "Take me to school." She sat in the back seat, opened the exquisite wooden box in her hand, and looked at the 10.3-carat blue diamond, elegant and luxurious, sparkling with light. "You brat, you dare to give Lily the world-famous Princess Tears diamond? Even if there is a money-printing machine in the house, you can't spend it like that. You really deserve a beating." She slowly closed the box, thinking to herself, the Green Earth party hosted by the Lancaster family's old man. She hoped this meaningful diamond can attract his attention.